So, folks, this is the second time in the day I'm back with another nonprofit. As you know, we work with nonprofits from around the country, especially grassroots nonprofits. Nonprofits that have the potential to do a lot if they had the capacity in order to get there. These are ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Today, I want to share with you. Earlier we was in another time zone. Now we're back in this time zone. We're back in Tampa, Florida, and I want to for this new nonprofit. Do this for me. Say who you are, what you do, why you do it, and how long you've been doing it.
Okay.
Let's get started.
So I am LaToya Pierce, and my nonprofit is called Going Into Pieces Movement, INC. And what I do is basically I deal with mental health, men, human trafficking, suicide. I do it because of the fact that as I was doing my vision board of who, what, when, where, how, and why, I decided that there's not a lot of help for men in the world. And when me as a woman, I have places to go if I got human trafficked, or if I got domestic violence, if I have um anything, there's places for me to go. And I looked and I said that, men didn't have anywhere or anybody to talk to because of the stigma around the world of men can't have feelings. So that's where the men aspect came from. Suicide came from because I participate as a volunteer as in the crisis center online virtually. I do the texting, and just all my life I've always been affiliated with people who feel suicidal or stuff like that. So I became well, I did my bachelor's in criminal justice and my other one in psychology. And it's because I always knew I had a passion for people. All my life I've been a volunteer doing things like whether it's going to Ronald McDonald House, whether it's socializing people. I was a case manager, social worker, and I realized that it's a lot. I seen a lot of stuff in the world that I wanted to do, and so the human trafficking aspect came in because I was a case manager, and when I was a case manager, um, we had to go on Backpage a lot and look up things far as it goes with the children and seeing what they were. So we had to take like CSAT
One
classes.
second, one second, one second. Because a lot of people might not know what Backpage is. Would you share with the audience? Now, keep in mind, you're talking with people from around the country. Some people might not know what that is. So tell them what Backpage is so they can see
so
the
back
relevancy.
so Backpage is a page where children go to just like have talk to older people, and that's where most of them found that. And they had developed this website for them to be able to go to, and that's where a lot of the kids were. So it's kind of like a MySpace, but well, back in the day MySpace, but it was like a social media for um, them to basically older men to pray out their victims. So
Good, because that's very important. Because what we're seeing is that this internet can be used to actually increase sex trafficking with web pages like the web page that she mentioned, where it's intentional. You don't go there to jump rope. You go there for sex. So that's a
right.
good strategy that you use in order to find the victim. But let me ask you one question again about the unique spin that you put into the fact that you're looking at male. Tell us a little bit about that. What do a male actually trafficking? Are they being trafficked or what? What's the? Tell me a little bit about that. That's why you need.
Okay, so the whole men, like I said, aspect came from me just recognizing that men need to be, they have mental issues in general. And I have noticed, like, I personally know people who have been molested, raped, they have tried to.
These are men.
Yes, sir.
And the reason why I want you to emphasize that, because that's a tendency for folks to think it's only females in sex trafficking. But your nonprofit is a little bit unique in that it's looking at a gap, and that gap is that males are also subjective to sex trafficking. That's what caught my attention. When you mentioned sex trafficking, I just thought, okay, well, female and everything like that. And what caught my attention is the unique focus that you're going to have. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop you, but that was so
Oh, no,
unique.
no,
I
no,
wanted
you're
people to
fine. This is good.
understand how unique it is.
This is good. And that's the thing. Like, people don't realize, like, even when it comes, like, that's a part of it. Like, just anybody with human trafficking, I want to deal with. But is the thing that people don't realize that men suffer the same problems as women. Like, there's men who have been domestic violence, and everybody like, what? A man getting hit by a woman? Some men just like, no, I'm not gonna hit you, but then women just start pounding and doing stuff like that. Men have gotten, like, men that I know have gotten raped by their babysitter, or just touched by their babysitter. If you look at what was that, the where what you call it was the Navy, and it's that movie where he was in the Navy and his babysitter had raped him, well, not raped him but molested him and made him do things. I used normally when I'm saying my speech I tell them the movie, I just forgot it.
Right.
But that things like that happen in real life, but people don't see that because they don't think that it can happen. So, like, I'm into my feminine stuff, but I'm into males where I, as if, like, I don't believe that saying happy wife, happy life, because I feel that
Right.
in order for you as a man to be able to be a provider, your needs have to be taken care of too. And a lot of women don't understand that. So my job as a person who's like an advocate for men is to go out to reach people, to let them understand that men can cry, men can feel, men can go through these same things that women go through. And not to say that I'm anti-women, but it's just to let them, like, the community, be aware that these things do exist, and to get help with some of this mental health issues, you got to
Now
learn because
that's unique. Now, having said that, let's go back again to suicide now. Tell us, has there been an increase in the number of suicide? I heard that, and don't quote me, I have the numbers, but I don't have it in front of me. But the number of suicides shot up substantially during and after the pandemic. What is that? What is it? I can't even pronounce it, man.
you got it, you got it, you got it. So yes, the number did increase after, definitely after. And from what I see, just as a regular person, not even thinking about my nonprofit, I see that a lot of it has increased. One, due to um I'm gonna say the second part later because it's something to dive into. But the biggest thing, one, is money, right? Everything has, the cost of living has gone up tremendously, and people can't afford to live. You have to live with someone else. There's a lot of people who's getting kicked out. And then the second part of it is me. What I do is the mental health part of it, because if you really think about it, a lot of people had time to sit at home with their spouses, their kids. They had to think a lot about it, and they recognize that there's a lot of problems within their home that they can avoid on a regular basis because they can just leave the house or whatever. But now you're forced to sit in front of this person who have, because they had to wait, everybody had to be on lockdown and all this stuff like this. So their pandemic basically was a lesson of learning and things going on. And so a lot of people were forced to face that. One, I'm really in this world by myself, or two, this person really don't care about me. I got to reevaluate things in life and how it goes. So from my personal opinion, this is why I feel like that has happened.
So let me ask you a question, because you convinced me in terms of what you're doing and why it's needed. Like I say, this video is going national. We work with groups from around the nation. In fact, we was on the other side of the time zone earlier today. If somebody wanted to give a donation First, do you have a website? Second, uh, do you have a email that they can contact you with? Because I know you're about to start a campaign in order to get funding for an extension in terms of rental space. So if somebody wanted to donate to that or any cost that you have now, how can they hit you up?
So I have several forms of donation. They can text silence to 53552, or my email is my name going into pieces movement inc@gmail.com. And then they can also like if Google it, they'll have it as well. You can also text my number and I can give all of the forms of payment. But it would be 813-820-0007. And yeah, so I do use Give Butter. I'm registered with them. And yeah, and I have Ziffy and stuff like that. So yeah.
So I'm excited about what you're doing and taking it to the next level. As you know, what we do is to work with grassroots organizations like yourself and build those organization up to capacity. So I want to thank you for taking the opportunity to talk with me today. On the other side, we'll talk more about what services that we can provide. But what I want to do more importantly, is that I like to display ordinary people that are doing extraordinary things in our society. And I say that because when you turn on the TV, you see so much negative. You'd be led to believe that everything is negative. But because I work with nonprofits, I know there's so much good that's going on in this world. So thanks again. We'll talk on the other side.
Yes.